My name is A. Gary Singh Gurewal from NRA Press Club and NRA News Media, nrapress.com. Welcome to our guest, Rajrani Kalra, Professor of Geography and Environmental Studies, California University, San Bernardino. And our today's program is India's Winter Harvest Festival with many names. Our host will be Ms. Baljit Choor. Baljit Choorji, go ahead, please. Thank you, Baljit.
Thank you very much, and welcome to NRI Press Club. Today, we are going to discuss the festivals of India. Many festivals, one name, India. Lohri, Makar Sankranti, Pongal, Bihu, and there are few other names. This is how this festival is celebrated all over India. And it's very interesting that it also fall on the last day of Po and the first day of Makar. So most of the places, they celebrate 2 days as it is. And today my guest is Rajrani Kalra. And I want to give you little information about her. She is, Rajrani has a PhD in geography from Kent State University, Kent, Ohio, MA Geography, University of Akron, and MPhil from University of Delhi. And she has a lot more other degrees besides this. And she is a professor at Cal State University, San Bernardino. If we talk about Mrs. Kalra, she said, I am a human geographer. I love to explore the world, its people, and understand the urban, economic, and human geography. That's a very interesting statement. And we are going to talk about, she is going to actually teach us the different ways of celebration of, as we call in Punjab, Lohri. Welcome to Rajrani Kalra.
Okay, thank you so much, Mr. Singh and Ms. Baljit for inviting me for such a prestigious NRIpress.com. I was really awed, that how the NRIs are doing really well in Southern California and all over United States. And you do tons of activities with them. And I'm really glad to be a part of it. Okay, very welcome every one of you who will be listening to me now, who are listening to me now live around the world, in different parts of the world, and who will listen to me later as Ms. Baljit has introduced me. I teach geography, human geography in Department of Geography and Environmental Studies at Cal State San Bernardino. I'm a professor teaching from last 13 years, and I do teach world regions and places. When Ms. Baljit gave me the invite, I was really excited to be a part of this NRI Press Club so that I can share my thoughts for all NRIs. I know all of you celebrate this festival, but this was really interesting because, we are so far away from our country, but we still have those feelings in us to, rejoice being with the connection with diaspora, all Asian Indians around the world, specifically here in Southern California. So anyways, I have this Bhangra tune. I will give this presentation to Baljit ji and Dr. Singh ji so that they can play it later. So what is this? Many festivals, one name, and I'm going to talk about, in case of India here, Lohri, Makar Sankranti, and Pongal. And I think Bihu, Ms. Baljit is going to focus on, right? So, okay. So let me start first of all with India, right? You're going to talk about Indian festivals. India is a very, very diverse country, as all of you know. We look different, but we hail from different states, but we are all one, right? With our features, with our languages, with our religions, with our states. So we are 29 states and 7 union territories with a diversity of population. We speak different languages. We have different religions in our country. We have different cultural traditions with us, right? And we have different festivals, and we all celebrate all of these festivals very nicely in the sense that different religions have different festivals, and different states have different ways of celebrating that. And amongst all of this, you're going to enjoy that we have a lot of gastronomic tourism, which means people love to eat food, right? So they connect the festivals with the gastronomy, which means the food tourism or food culture. And we are going to talk about all these three festivals as we go ahead. So you can see this is a map of India, very diverse. As I said, 29 states. All states speak different languages. Okay. So going from top north to south and east to west, different religions, different languages, and different agricultural activities too. And India, I want you all to understand, I'm not going to go to the economy and whatnot, but India still is 60% agrarian, as also involved in many other secondary and tertiary activities. Okay. So when we think about India, it's one of the oldest and the richest civilization. And I want you all to understand that why are we bringing in all of these, say, festivals, and, how these regions have evolved. I want you to understand, and even the naan, when you come from the Mughals and when you go to Persian food, it's all kind of similar. So this is, we were in the time of the Mughal Empire. So we see where we got the religion of Hinduism and Islam, right? You need to understand that too. And then when you come, when the British ruled for us for 200 years, apart from giving up the lingua franca, which I'm currently speaking, and all of us Asian Indians from north to south and east to west are able to understand me, it's because of the English, which has become the lingua franca, right? And then in 1953, we got independence in 1947. And then in 1953, we got all the states. How do we differentiate them, right? Because they were all based on the princely states. So on 1953, there was a State Reorganization Act, which divided all the states on the basis of languages. So, right? So all the states, I know it's going to be very interesting if you guys are going to think about it, that, imagine California has a different language, and Toronto, or sorry, say Texas has a different language, right? Those who are born and brought up here, right? So it's going to be very interesting. But in India, all the states were carved on the basis of language. So I just wanted you guys to understand that how this whole region is going to be varied. Okay, so this is our Mughal Empire and how 1700 India looked in 1930 and the current, right? And obviously we had Pakistan and Bangladesh during this point of time. And I also want you guys to understand, if you meet any person from Pakistan, from Nepal, from Sri Lanka, it's very hard for you to distinguish, right? Or in Nepal, right? So anyways, let's keep going. India is also a land of several religions. It has several religions, and Hindus dominate with 80%, followed by Islam, Sikhism, right? And then Jainism. And you can see all these different religions. We do idols, we do books, right? We worship plants, we worship trees, we worship rivers, and so on and so forth. Okay. Now, I want to take you to the festivities, right? Happiness. So what is festival? So I'm going to talk about a very interesting festival, which is connected actually to the agriculture and also to the rise of change of the season. So it's not just the festivities related to the agricultural transformation, but it is also related to the change in the season. And this was a interesting map which I got on one of the WhatsApp connection. Look at how India, being also diverse, we see in the northern part, we divide, if you can divide three religions. It's also called Uttarayan. It's Makar Sankranti. Lohri is in Punjab, a hub of Sikh religions. Bihu in Bihar. And then you come to Makara down in Kerala. And then Pongal, which is right now, it's also a Pongal day, right? Today and tomorrow. Okay, so you can see one country, different religions, different food, and how we're going to talk about it. So I also want you to understand that India really knows how to celebrate its diversity, right? So you can see not just different types of gastronomic. This is a picture I took in one of the Asian Indian mall when I was in New Delhi, India. And this was one image which came out that how a Muslim woman has made her son as Lord Krishna. And this is actually, I took it in Kurukshetra. It was Christmas Day. My nephew was getting engaged that day. And I saw a child, her mother brought him to to the temple before making him Santa and taking him to the school. So this is where we belong from. This is what our population, our culture is. So we should not be forgetting. There might be different waves of division amongst us, but this is what we are. This is how I have grown up for 28 years of my life in New Delhi, India. Coming back, I wanted to talk about a little bit of religions. We have different languages. I'm not going to spend on that. Let's go and celebrate Lohri, right? So I wish I had a Bhangra Dole. So when we think of Lohri, we are thinking of groundnuts, popcorn, ravioli, and the peanut jaggery and whatnot. So it's a big deal in India. So, and it's first is very important. They have a big bonfire. So this was the Prime Minister. He was extending his marks the harvesting season of crops as the winter season ends and ushers in the spring. And in April, we are going to have the cutting of the harvest. So this is a very famous couple who just got married. It's a Bollywood film star. This is, I think this is Vicky Kaushal and Katrina Kaif. They just got married, and she got married in a Punjabi family. So first is very significant. So this was their first Lohri, right? I just wanted to bring that picture too as we have pop culture. And I want you to understand this is family, happiness, food, dance, and celebration is equal to Lohri. So amidst the COVID, actually, I was in India last year, and during the time of COVID, this is me with my short hairs. And this was a mall, very famous mall called Vegas Mall. So that was with me, with my parents and my niece and nephew. So anyway, so when we think about, this is in Hindi, it's written that wish you a very happy Lohri. Celebrate Lohri with makki ki roti, the corn tortilla and spinach and mustards, right? So people celebrate, and this was the mall, how it was all decorated. I was impressed by this. Celebrate Lohri with Vegas. Can you see a pop culture assimilation, east and west, right? And I said, why would they keep the name Vegas, right? But they did. So anyway, and there was a beautiful bhangra which was happening, and I became a part of it too, because they invited people, right? So if you see here, this is the Vegas Mall in New Delhi, India, and just wanted to show you, this is the capital city, the hub, the seat of power, not too far from Punjab, like around 8 hours, but you can still see the energy and the dynamism of the dhol people, and everybody was surrounding it, and they were all dancing, including me. So anyways, you see all these kind of festivities are coming on, and people advertise and send, like, it's like, you say Merry Christmas in here in the Western world. This is a big festival within all parts of countries, celebrated differently. It has different names, right? So we have a big bonfire, and we go to different families and ask, we want Lohri, like you guys do it in Halloween. So they dance. This is the Bhangra dance because it's a popular dance in Punjab. And this is Gidda. Gidda is the women who dances. And I know Baljeet ji and Singh ji can definitely add, because they are Punjabis too, right? So that would be really, and our other guests too. So just few more images which I am sharing with you all. The beautiful, colorful dresses, and they say a lot of congratulations, and you can see they dance. And now why, right? Let's just go. It's a Punjabi festival. The main reason here is, this is a traditional time. It's associated with the harvest of the Rabi crops, and Punjabi farmers see the day after Lohri as a financial year. So they're getting ready of a change of season as well. And it's also many people mention this as it is a harvest festival. When we talk the Rabi crops, Rabi are the winter crops. They are all being they all have been seeded, they're all done with it. Now they're waiting for the harvest. So they just pray that we are all done with this. In April comes Baisakhi, when they are going to cut the harvest, right? So anyways, just an example here. So, what do they do? Well, they have celebrate in full fervor around the bonfire. They have gur, ravioli, peanuts, popcorns, right? So food, I just want you guys to understand, this is the image. This is all gastronomic tourism. Everything is kind of connected to food, right? So anyway, so this is what they consume, and the logic behind consuming is to sow sugarcane, and the harvesting period is from December to March. Coming back, why do we celebrate, right? As I said earlier, it's a very important traditional winter folk festival. It commemorates the passing of the winter solstice, right? As we're going to have longer days and sun journey towards the northern hemisphere. It's not just with Lohri, it's also with Makar Sankranti, where we're going to worship sun, right? And then we'll come to Pongal, okay, in a minute. And this is a very favorite song, actually. And this is a favorite story. And they sing this song. If you haven't heard Punjabi women, they say Sundar Mundriye Hoy. If you haven't been to Punjab, then you are missing. So there's a whole story that, this Dula Bhatti guy was like the Robin Hood, right? And he used to steal from the rich and rescue the poor girls and to save them to be sold in the slave markets. And then he used to do arranged marriages. And the two girls who he saved, apart from others, they became really famous, right? Sundar Mundari. So I was reading all the stories and I thought I need to share that because every festival has a folklore, have a legend, right? And there's also in history, I was reading about, there was a Raja Ranjit Singh who during that point of time, what he used to do has been written by other foreigners. And they have mentioned about that Raja Ranjit Singh used to have a big bonfire and he used to, give foods and he used to donate a lot of foods and other items to the poor population. So that was kind of very interesting. Now coming back to a very important part here, that how do we celebrate the first Lohris, right? So there are tons of pictures. Actually, this is my father's great granddaughter. She was just born here in Atlanta and they did a Lohri because every first is important. So they sent me pictures and this is just now 3 months old. Her name is Bani and they did it in their balcony or the patio with her grandparents and the parents. So I just want to mention here, if you're newly married, which I showed you the pop culture example, if you have a newborn baby boy, house, you celebrate the first, right? So it's very important that here we are celebrating. So it can be a private affair, it can be independent. So this is the song which I'm going to send this PowerPoint to. And this is, I was thinking if we have more people, we can sing this song, but that's okay. There's a translation of that. Sundar Mundriye Hoy, right? Tera Kaun Vichara Ho, Dula Bhatti Wala Ho. So there's a whole beautiful song which goes with it, right?
Oh, now we can see. Yeah.
So this is a Lohri festival in India. My elder brother did it, and this is what they have sent me. So you can see the bonfire here, right?
People celebrating.
So they are all dancing and laughing and have invited their friends. Food. This is amidst COVID, right?
Yes.
So this is how you have the bonfire, and that's my brother dancing. Yes, so with the mask on. So I just wanted to show you how the energy is in this part of the world, so how much energy we play our festivals and celebrate them. Anyway, so let me come back to our another festival, which is Makar Sankranti. Okay, so let me take you to the kite festival, as Ms. Baljit has already talked about, that Makar Sankranti is one such festival which is one, but it has several names, right, in different parts of the country. So obviously it's in Gujarat, it's played as a kite festival, different types of kites too. And I have some pictures too, which I'll show you. Again, I want you to understand, how I was thinking geographically, how our all festivals are kind of connected to our geography, to our landscape, to our seasons, right? So when we think of Sankranti is dedicated to the Lord Sun, right? It refers to a specific solar day in the Hindu calendar. Again, Capricorn, when we talk of the Tropic of Capricorn, which divides the earth, so which is called Makar, is the end of winter months and the beginning of longer days, which we call the month of Magh, right? So another interesting thing is that Makar Sankrati is also known as Uttarayan, right? Because it starts its northward journey and farmers across the country wish for a good harvest. Again, this is the northern part, right? So can you see how we being villagers, we being farmers, how much we are dependent on the primary activity of agriculture. So again, we eat a lot of, again, it's connected with the food. People eat different types of food. And I'm going to come to the food in a second. all the Makar Sankranti traditions, as I said, we are so diverse. Our food, our culture, our way of celebration is very different. Languages are different. Similarly, Makar Sankranti are little different in the different regions of India. But interesting part is that we worship the sun god, right? So solar. So that's very interesting. And taking bath in the river Ganges, eating sweets of jaggery. So jaggery and sesame is also eaten in Lohri. It's the same festival. Lohri, Makar Sankranti, Pongal, Bihu, they are all the same, different names in different regions, right? So that is India. Anyways, coming back to we celebrate and why celebrate, as I said, to the sun god, and it's celebrated with all enthusiasm. People worship sun, fly kite, decorate their homes, light bonfires, and prepare delicacies. And a very favorite one was khichdi. I was exploring why khichdi. Then they worship this Gorakhnath Guru. He's being worshipped by khichdi, and because he was fond of this khichdi. And another interesting thing I learned about khichdi was, because the season is changing, they said people had enough heavy food. Now you're going in a transition, so eat little lighter food, right? So this was a agriculturists say the festival is celebrated with pomp and show. The healthy khichdi is like a rice lentil soup, right? Those who don't know the traditional name, it's rice lentil soup basically with all some veggies and seasonings. And it's being and used with it also represents the cycle of life and rebirth as well as the beginning of a new house. And this is one of my favorite food as well. So anyways, now I am not going to spend too much and I'm going to go to Pongal because right now we are in the Pongal time. I show you these images. Can you all see this? So yes, this is a newspaper, a very popular newspaper, a news which came. This is Makar Sankranti, different state as I said. So you can see how they are celebrating with different types of kites. In this, you can see in Uttar Pradesh 2021, 22. This was a recent image. People taking dips. It's called Peda Panduga in Andhra Pradesh. It's celebrated as Uttarayan in Telangana, as Sankranti in MP. This is celebrated as Makra Chola in Odisha, which is an eastern part of India. This is my favorite. In Bihar, Makar Sankranti is called Til Sankrant or Dahi Chura. They eat that. Again, look at the food, gastronomic. And then in Kerala, it's celebrated as Makra Vilaku, which is again in a Malayalam language, right? Lodi is Punjabi, right? And while Karnataka, it's celebrated as Sugi. And then in Tamil Nadu, we go down. It's one of my favorite state, actually. It's called Pongal. And neighboring Sri Lankan states, because they speak the same language, they celebrate Pongal on this day too. Maharashtra does as Haldi Kumkum. And I remembered, I went to one of my friends' house. They are from, they are Telugu speakers. So whenever I go to their house, they always do Haldi Kumkum. So they say, whenever a women come to our house, we have to give our Haldi and Kumkum, right? It's a positivity. So I want you to understand every region, religion, culture, all assimilated in India makes it a beautiful country. So anyway, so this is the Gujarat, the festival of kites, Uttarayan on this. And in Himachal Pradesh, it's called the Magha Saji. Himachal is where we have our Himalayas, right? This is our Punjab. Makar Sankranti is also known as Maghi, right? So they also this. Assam, Bihu, which Baljit ji will tell us about Bihu. Again, they do this Bihu dance. Then we have West Bengal celebrates Poshu Sankranti with lot of traditional Bengali sweets. Bengal is very famous for its Bengali sweet, right? And then Singapore and Malaysia refer to this day as Pongal because we have a lot of immigrants who have gone to Singapore and they all hail from South India. So that's why, if you want to eat South Indian food, you'll get the best in Singapore and Malaysia. And then this is worshipping the sun god. So I just have last few minutes in which I'm going to talk about Pongal now. Now, where is Pongal? Now, let me take you to Pongal. I want you to understand that Pongal, we are still in... okay, can everybody see this? Yeah? No? Yeah, okay. So Pongal actually is celebrated from 14 to 17 Jan. And today is 16 January here in US, but it's 17 January in India, right, where they are being celebrated. So Pongal is basically celebrated in the southern states of India, which means Tamil Nadu, Andhra Pradesh, Kerala, Karnataka, right? But we're going to focus because it's more celebrated in the state of Tamil Nadu or Tamil Nadu. So I want to show you, if you look here, this is 2017 actually. This was a puja celebration happening in 15 January 2017 in a city in New Delhi, and it says Mayur. So this, if you see here, again, I want to celebrate India's culture, and this is actually my elder brother, and he's a super secular guy. So you can see he's wearing a dress. Can you see? He's a Punjabi, right? But he celebrates all festivals. Now he was in the South Indian Sangam and he was wearing the South Indian tradition, right? So I said, okay, now he has also transferred himself into celebrating Pongal, right? Anyway, so just wanted to share that. Now, what is the legend of Pongal? Again, interestingly, I really love this story too. Again, a legend is associated with this particular festival. Lord Shiva actually had a bull who called Basava, and he said, hey, go to the earth, and all humans should have oil massage and they have to take bath every day and eat once a month. As we are going to the intermittent fasting, I was sometimes thinking, how we are all, the West is all leaning towards our east. So Basava, what he did was, he went to the humans and told him to do the opposite, eat every day, take an oil bath once a month, and then he was punished by Lord Shiva, and he was Basava, was told to take an oil, go down to the earth and help humans by plowing their fields. So this is how, cattle to be associated with Pongal, So anyway, so this again, to understand the story, festival celebrated in Tamil Nadu from 14 to 17. And again, it marks the beginning of Uttarayan. So if you see, how Lohri, how Makar Sankranti and Pongal are kind of connected, we can join the dots here. Again, sun journey towards the north and end of winter season. So I want to talk about 4 types of Pongal quickly. So the first is a Bhogi Pongal on 14 January, when you clean your house, discard all the old clothes and start a new ceremony, right? So, and you celebrate first day with rice, sugarcane, and turmeric, right? That's always celebrated. It's very positive. It's haldi kumkum, as we read about it in the Makar Sankranti. Now, Thai is in Tamil, you call January. So Thai is a January month translated into Tamil language. So again, it's called dedicated to the sun god. Women clean their house with kolam. I don't know if you know kolam. Kolam is a rangoli which you make in front of your houses, right? And that ceremony captures the sense of the word Pongal. It's a very beautiful, it's a very delicious dessert too, which we make it with milk and sugar. It really boils. Its rice is boiled in water. We call it kheer, with milk and jaggery till they overflow and spell, right? So then comes, so this is Thai Pongal, which is called Surya Pongal. Then today is Mattu Pongal. So congratulations to all of you, because we are doing this talk, thanks to the NRI press here, that we are celebrating this beautiful festival on Mattu Pongal, where Lord Ganesha, which all Hindus celebrate, and Parvati are worshipped, and Pongal is offered to them. So if you haven't made it, I am going to make it too today, a little bit, a Pongal, so that everybody has that nice Mattu Pongal. And it also means, their horns are painted of the cow. Mattu means bull, right? So you all now know Thai means January in Tamil, Mattu means bull. And in this day, cattle are bathed, because, cattle are a big part of agrarian society in India. That's a very important part which you all have to remember. And they're all decorated with flower garlands and bells. So there's no beef, right? So don't imagine beef at this point of time in India. It's a very vegetarian country, apart from people eat a lot of non-veg food too. Coming back to Kanum Pongal, which is today and tomorrow, this is the 4th and final day of called Kanum Pongal, which is a very auspicious day to start new bonds and relationships, So that is tomorrow. So you can see the connection, cleaning the house, eating good food, worshipping, and then relationships. So it's kind of connected, right? So this is in Tamil Nadu or in South India. So let us all celebrate Mattu and Kanum Pongal today and tomorrow. And let's hear to the Bihu, right? So thank you very much for your attention. And I look forward to if you have any questions or comments, or you want to tell how we celebrate or you guys celebrated, I will give that as to Ms. Bajit. Thank you, Ms. Baljeet, and everyone. Dr. Singh, thank you.
Okay. Baljeet ji, you have any question? Yes, you need to unmute. Baljeet. Yeah. Unmute, please. Baljeet. Unmute, please.
Okay. Hi. Thank you very much, Rajrani. This was a great presentation. We learned a lot about India, festivals, language, and food. And the last festival that we are going to talk about is Magh Bihu. As you said, this will kind of connect all the festivals with Bihu, because we are talking about food. And one major food that we talk about was the sesame seeds and jaggery, or the gur. And also, interesting thing is that in Magh Bihu, they have three Bihu in Assam. This is basically Assam's festival. And this Magh Bihu, they actually built thatch houses outside of the village, and they all get together, they cook there, they celebrate there, sing and dance and do all kind of things, as we do with the Lohri. As I remember from my childhood, they used to make like, you have to set the we call it pathi or uple or cow dung, that they have to kind of stack them in a way that it will look like a pyramid. So they also do this thatch like a pyramid, and they actually live, like spend time singing and dancing and food. And end of the festival, they also make the, as we call kheer in Punjab, we call it porinni mag khadi. So they make the kheer rice with the sugarcane juice, and they cook that a night before, and they leave it to get cold. And in the morning, the first day of the Makar Sankranti, they will eat that kheer. And also they do the same thing with in Assam, that they will cook, as you're saying, the kheer or the pudding with the gur or jaggery and rice, and then they will eat that next day. So it will be kept and it will be eaten next day. So end of that festival, they burn. First day they built the hatches, and next day they burn the hatches. That will become the bonfire, and then they dance around it, and then they will eat the pudding that they have made. Also, it's a part of Lord Shiva. They said this festival was probably started from 3500 BC. And it was quite interesting to me how it connects to the Lohri in Punjab almost the same way. So as we think that we didn't have connection between the states or with people, I think we had a lot more connection between people and cultures, a lot more than we actually understand that. So this is a beautiful, beautiful festivals that we all talk about. Now, anybody has any question?
I have a question here.
Audience?
Okay.
Yes.
Ms. Kalra, I have a question here. Do you, I have looking here, you said 200 BC or AD start there. It is first maybe start in north or maybe south, because the Tamil Nadu is going very big way celebration I can see here now. And it start in north, or maybe it starts south, or maybe you have anything idea? It start when? You have you have to need unmute, Kalra.
I think that because the oldest record that we are looking at is Bihu 3500 BC.
Yes,
That's what
this
they say, right?
I
The
think
other Pongal is 2500 BC.
200. She said put it 200 before.
Yeah.
I can see 200
the
BC there.
Sangam age.
BC
Yeah.
25.
Yeah, 200. Pongal is
Yeah,
very old. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, Pongal, this is the Dravidian, before the Aryans, Aryans came down. This is us who are already living in India, right?
Mhm.
So you can see, how Lohri came after that with the Rajrani
Yeah.
and whatnot. So
First
yes,
it was there. Yeah.
yes,
first
so
it was
good comment and good observation, I would say, very good
there. Yeah, I'm
observation.
looking
To
at Sangam.
understand, yes, which one came first, right? And it's really interesting to see. We used to call that Madras, not even
Yeah.
Tamil Nadu. Yeah.
Yeah, Tamil Nadu, I think so. Okay, thank you. I think it's great. Bajiji, do you want to close it? Do you want any
Yes,
question?
and one thing that is common as well, Rajrani said that it's the crop. So we already made, like in winter, they made jaggery out of sugarcane juice, and the harvest of sesame seeds are done, and they're getting ready for the um, wheat crop. And so this is a celebration to get rid of all the laziness, as we call.
Yeah.
We have we say a phrase. Uddam aaye, daliddar jaye, daliddar di jad chulle paaye. And as you said, the Sundar Mundariye ho, tera kaun bechara
Something like
ho,
that.
patti wala ho, dulle ne teer viahi ho, sher shakkar pai ho.
Right.
लाल पटा हो
Oh,
कुड़ी
God.
Yes.
सालू पाटा सालू कौन समेटे चाचा गाली दे से चाचे चूरी कुटी जिमीदारा लुटी जिमीदार सदाए गिण गिण पौले लाए एक पौला खुस गया जिमीदार बॉटी लेके नस गया.
Beautiful, beautiful.
Very good.
I remember that from childhood,
Excellent.
Yeah,
Excellent.
that's good.
attending that, and we used to give out mungfali and riyodiyan and gur
Yes.
to people, and the girls will not move until you give something to them. And if you
Yes.
don't give, then they will say kothe utte tukka ekar bhukha.
Oh, God, so nice.
That's wonderful. Go ahead. Go ahead.
ਕਿਹੜੇ ਵੇਲੇ ਦੀਆਂ ਆਈਆਂ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਦੇ ਲੋੜੀ ਤੇਰੀ ਜੀਵੇ ਜੋੜੀ. And,
Oh,
so all kind of things, like you will be afraid to not to give something to them because they are going to call names and it will be kind of bad name to you if you haven't given them something.
Beautiful.
So it was the right of the youngsters to take. So all the youngsters of the town will get together, dance and sing, and that was great time. And I'm sure that all parts of the country, they all celebrated this way. And I
Yeah.
haven't heard anything from your students. Anybody has any question?
Oh, I have friends. They are not students, didn't come
Okay.
in because I can't officially call them. My classes start on 24th.
Oh,
So
I
maybe in the
okay.
later.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay, okay,
So
okay.
I think we have Dhruv from India and we have Sudhir and we have Ashish. Dhruv, you want to say something, or Ashish, you want to start first? Go ahead.
They have to unmute.
Yeah, I think 716 has already
This
unmuted.
is Ashish. Yeah,
Go ahead,
this is
Ashish.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can
Yeah,
hear
you know what? Yeah, being a Hindu, celebrating all the festivals because we get something good to eat, and knowing a bit about the history, and these kind of sessions enlighten us about the real background about this festival. So for me, growing up in India in a traditional family, yes, I celebrated all the festivals because I get good things to eat. So being a child, that was the most important thing for us. And I lived normally in a society which was highly cosmopolitan. So for me, every festival was equally important because it was a celebration. Why I say cosmopolitan society? Because my dad worked for the central government. And so, every 2 years we move from place to place. So we, really seen the culture, the real celebrations of all different festivals all across India. And then, finally left the country, and these kind of sessions, enlighten and bring me back to where I belong. And I appreciate the time what Raj has put in, and you guys have organized this event.
Yeah.
Ashish,
you.
thank you.
Thank you very much. We really appreciate you participating. And I will say one thing, that you only understand the importance of something when you don't have it anymore. So
Yes.
we living in United States, being NRIs, we miss all these things, and our childhood memories are with us, and we still want to feel that way, but we are missing these festivals here. Thank you.
Definitely.
You're right.
Yeah, thank you, Ashish. And I want to say, Ashish, dad was in Air Force, and that's why he was telling me one day that he traveled around the world, and that way he happens to see all of India. I think so. Thanks, Ashish Gupta. We have Dhruv with us. Dhruv, you raised your hand, I think.
Yeah.
Hello.
Good.
No, I have not heard much about Bihu, but this was a very informative session, very culturally enriching. The one thing that attracts about this festival is the change of season and the welcoming of the new season. And again, food is definitely a big part of the attraction, dancing and rejoicing and the family getting together. I mean, these are the things that are really important surrounding this particular festival. So happy Makar Sankranti and Pongal to all of you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Okay, so I don't think
Dhruv is unmuted now. So Dhruv, would you like to say anything?
say it. Yes, we can hear you. Go ahead.
Still unmute.
Hello.
बहुत बहुत बधाइयां हों
Thank you. Thank you.
रचना कीजिए ना एक रिटायर्ड बैंकर हाँ
Uh-huh.
बचपन तो मैं लोहड़ी मनांदा आया
Anji.
ਤੁਸੀਂ ਪੰਜਾਬੀ ਜਪਾ ਕੇ ਅੰਗਰੇਜ਼ੀ ਦਾ ਵਾ
Punjabi is fine too.
Punjabi is fine too. Yeah, they say Punjabi.
ठीक है, बिल्कुल।
Punjabi is fine.
ਮੈਂ
No. You. Yeah, go ahead.
ਬਚਪਨ ਦੀਆਂ ਕੁਝ ਯਾਦਾਂ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਦੱਸਣਾ ਚਾਹਨਾ
जी।
ਲੋਹੜੀ ਦੀਆਂ
Uh-huh.
ਮੇਰੇ ਫਾਦਰ ਮਦਰ ਅੱਜ ਨਹੀਂ ਹੈਗੇ
जी।
ਫਾਦਰ ਲਾਹੌਰ ਤੋਂ ਸਨ ਤੇ ਮਦਰ ਮੇਰੇ ਅੰਮ੍ਰਿਤਸਰ ਤੋਂ ਸਨ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੇ ਬਚਪਨ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਮੈਂ ਲੋਹੜੀਆਂ ਮਨਾਉਂਦਾ ਆਇਆ ਵਾਂ ਆਪਣੇ ਘਰ ਦੇ ਸਾਹਮਣੇ ਅਸੀਂ ਬਹਿ ਜਾਂਦੇ ਸੀ
ਹਾਏ ਹਾਏ
ਜਿੰਦਾਰੀਆਂ ਪੁੰਜੇ ਦਰੀ ਵਿਛਾ ਕੇ
ਓਏ ਹੋਏ ਹੋਏ ਕਿਆ ਬਾਤ
ਤੇ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਬੰਦੇ ਹੁੰਦੇ ਸਨ ਮੰਜਿਆਂ ਤੇ
ਹਾਏ ਹਾਏ ਕਿਆ ਗੁੱਡ
ਉਹ ਖਾਂਦੇ ਸੀ ਰਿਓੜੀਆਂ ਖਾਂਦੇ ਸੀ ਮੂੰਗਫਲੀਆਂ ਖਾਂਦੇ ਸੀ ਫੁੱਲੇ ਖਾਂਦੇ ਸੀ
ਹਾਏ ਹਾਏ ਕਿਆ ਬਾਤ
ਮੇਰੇ ਪਿਤਾ ਜੀ ਨੂੰ ਗਾਉਣ ਦਾ ਬੜਾ ਸ਼ੌਂਕ ਸੀ
Uh-huh.
ਆਸਾ ਸਿੰਘ ਵਸਤਾਨੇ ਦਾ ਗਾਣਾ ਗਾਉਂਦੇ ਸਨ
ਓਏ ਹੋਏ ਹੋਏ ਕਿਆ ਬਾਤ
ਗਾਣ ਵਾਲੀ
गा के सुनाओ उन सानू।
वो कह रहे हैं कि can you sing that song? गा के सुनाओ. पेके जानवर.
ਨਹੀਂ ਮੈਂ ਪਹਿਲੇ ਗੱਲ ਸੁਣ ਮੈਂ ਗੱਲ
सुधीर जी, आप कुछ बोलना चाहेंगे? सुधीर ठाकुर जी, आप कुछ बोलना चाहेंगे जी?
मैंने बोल दिया, मैं बस सुनूंगा।
Okay.
beautiful thank you Sudhir ji
Thank
very
you,
good.
thank you.
Thank
If
you.
Dhruv wants to sing the song, then we will give him 2 minutes. जी।
ਸਾਰੇ ਬੜੇ ਖੁਸ਼ ਹੁੰਦੇ ਸਨ ਵੱਡੇ ਵੀ ਤੇ ਛੋਟੇ ਵੀ ਉਹ ਮੇਰੇ ਮਾਤਾ ਜੀ ਸਾੜੀ ਦੇ ਪੱਲੂ ਨਾਲ ਆਪਣਾ ਮੂੰਹ ਢੱਕ ਕੇ ਤੇ ਹੱਸਦੇ ਰਹਿੰਦੇ ਸਨ
ਹਾਏ ਹਾਏ
So cute.
ਚਲੋ that's
Do you
good.
wanna sing that song? Do you wanna sing? They're saying एक line बोल दो आप, and then we have to wrap it up. Yeah.
ਮੈਂ ਬੋਲਾਂਗਾ ਪੂਰਾ ਤੇ ਨਹੀਂ ਮੈਨੂੰ ਯਾਦ ਹੋਣਾ
नहीं, 2 लाइना चलनगियां.
ਉਹ ਪੇਕੇ ਜਾਣ ਵਾਲੀ ਏ
ਓਏ ਹੋਏ
ਉਹ ਪੇਕੇ ਜਾਣ ਵਾਲੀ
Oh, जी किन्ना।
that's fine
Maghi
okay ji
किन्ना.
Miss Kalra there's only 2 minutes left.
I can finish that. I can finish that. Pick it
Go ahead, go ahead, go ahead, go
they're going
ahead.
to close at now 2 minutes please
किन्ना मैं क्या जी किन्ना चेहरे लावेंगी। Okay जी, thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
all of
Thank
you
you.
very much.
everything we will
Experience.
talk Kalra ji
Part of
Baljeet
us.
ji
Please
Thank you.
listen to the other programs that we have.
Okay, very soon.
NRI Press.
thank you
Thank you very much. Thank you again.
thank you ji